This screencast is part of a series for a simple course management system add-in for RStudio Server Pro, although this particular video doesn't require the use of the add-in itself. A previous video showed how instructors can collect student assignment files using the add-in, and a future video will show how to return graded assignments. This screencast covers what happens in between, providing feedback to students directly in their RMarkdown files. We begin by logging in with the instructor's account. We use the Files interface to browse to the folder containing the files we need to grade, and open one. In many cases, we can't grade the work until we have run the student's code, so you may want to start by knitting the file. Now we wish to grade the assignment. We'd like the feedback we add to the student's file to stand out clearly, like using a red pen on a paper assignment would. That way the student can scan the assignment quickly to find the instructor's comments. Because Markdown supports HTML, we can style our feedback however we like. For example, if we just type the word correct, then the student would need to read carefully to find that feedback buried amongst the other content of the file. But if we formatted it with some HTML code, we can make it stand out. Unfortunately, this is far too tedious to do for each piece of feedback you insert in a student's file. But we can make it easier with an RStudio feature called Snippets. Snippets are text shortcuts that RStudio expands into longer code segments at your request. To use them, we need to do a one-time setup to specify which code we want stored in snippets. Go to the Tools menu and choose Global Options. In the Code section, we see the Snippets heading. Ensure this checkbox is enabled, and click the button to edit your predefined set of snippets. We're editing a Markdown file, so we need to specify some Markdown snippets. RStudio comes with 4 of them predefined. Each definition specifies a character or short phrase that will expand into a longer definition. For example, the first snippet lets you type just the open square bracket character, then hit Shift-Tab, and it will expand into a larger definition. The curly brackets surround parameters, which I'll explain in a bit. I'll paste in some predefined code I've written for correct, incorrect, and partially correct answers. You can create your own definitions. These are the ones I found useful. Let's see how they work. Notice that the shortcuts I've chosen are CC, II, and PP. Back in our Markdown file, we can type any of these codes, followed by Shift-Tab, and it automatically expands into the feedback we want to give. In the case where partial credit was earned, we might wish to edit the content and explain a bit more. But we'll be doing this quite often. We can make it easier by setting a format for the snippet, with placeholders for common types of text. These are the parameters mentioned earlier. Let's see our snippets list again. Let's modify the partial credit snippet to say how many points were deducted and why. Now let's try inserting such a snippet again. First, let me delete the old one. Now I'll type in the new one, and then we can go try it out. The first parameter is automatically highlighted, and you can move to the next parameter with the Tab key. I'll paste in here the actual snippets I use for grading, including one whose shortcut is GG for the final grade. I use it at the top of the file, where it will be very visible to students as soon as they open the file. That's the one-time setup you can do in your snippets settings, and once that's done, then for the rest of the semester you can grade assignments using those snippets without adjusting those settings again. The next video will return to using the add-in, this time for returning graded files to students.